Live and direct from the control tower. It's your power, music and talk radio station. Paradise 105.5 FM Calabar. Number 1 in the south of Nigeria.
We do have with us here in the building the man who is literally behind that particular motion to make sure that we will have better redistribution for our children at birth, and that is no other than Right Honorable Barrister Alex Ukam, Federal Commissioner, National Population Commission. A very, very good morning to you, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone.
All right.
Love to be here.
Absolutely. By the way, first of all, I think we'd like to let you know that we do admire your outfit. Looking good, looking clean, looking proper, looking very, like a national figure.
Thank you for that compliment.
You're welcome. It's nice to have you. I think for starters, I'd like you to let us in on your recent partnership with the Office of Her Excellency. Let us in on that. Discuss more on that partnership and what lies therein for us as Cross Riverians.
Really the visit to the Office of Her Excellency, the First Lady of Cross River State, Bishop Mrs. Eonwan Basedero II, what premise on the needs for a turnaround of things with regard to bed restriction in Cross River State. Because over the period, the Cross River State have been too backward in terms of catching up with the federal allocation. We all know very well that this aspect is one of the aspects that is used as a criterion for federal allocation. So we deem it necessary that what is happening at the federal level we should also link up with the center to interfere in this regard.
Yeah.
So in which way exactly does it translate to pluses or minuses when it comes to the allocation from the federal government? In which ways does birth rates and their registrations translate to that?
Well, thank you very much. You will agree with me as a Nigerian. It is one of the prerequisites of whether a constitutional matter that population serve as one of the formula in allocation of resources to various states and local governments. And so far for now, presently, it has 30% of sharing allocation populations. Even though the revenue, what they call it, tax reform bill before the National Assembly, there's a proposal whereby the governors are still arguing. Mr. President was like that area should be left out or completely removed, but there's still an argument. And in fact, some governor had a meeting and proposed 20%. That is from 30 to 20%. But that not yet been accomplished because it is still a bill, still within the National Assembly. That's the reform bill. And you can imagine 30% what it means to a state and local governments. And for your information, it may interest you to know, I was so shocked. Okay, let me not mention states. But there's a particular state that has just very few local governments that is having 4-point-something population growth rates. As against Cross River State with 18 local government, 2-point-something population growth rates. And I cried when I came and discovered this.
Don't you think that this process might be open to manipulation because of the allocation? People can be funny.
Well, it's possible.
How do you checkmate that challenge?
That may be one of the factors that I seem to agree. Within our states, permit me, if I may sound like indicting the past regime, we have shown lukewarm attitudes to these aspects. I won't blame them, because even myself, if not until I became a commissioner, I didn't know the importance of that commission. All right? It's just like you now. You will not appreciate the importance of that commission. But the birth rate is also a factor, like I've said before, for allocations of federal resources to various states. But our previous government have never seen it so important. Because if we don't carry out massive advocacy, awareness, especially to the women sector, and that informed the visit to Her Excellency. All right? Because the women are those who are the caregivers of these children. They're the one who brings out these children for registration. And you can imagine, when you go out, even the few staff we have going out, The people there are so scared. They think that they take off for tax collectors. They will refuse to bring out their children for registration. And when you have a low registration, just like what Cross State is at the bottom, I say 2 point something. And they will calculate your revenue allocation on the basis of what you have. You can't get what you don't have, what you cannot give. So that is the situation we find ourselves in Cross River. And we are now advertising. In fact, it got to a point that the figure we saw is like the Cross River State federal government were not interested. They just feel that whatever comes, they take it. And so some of us are doing a lot of advocacy, pay a visit to the governor. That was last year. That same last year, we pay a visit to the National Assembly. We even advocated for National Assembly converting their, what they call it, empowerment into making sure that they recruit some ad hoc staffs to send to these various, to their own local government and pay them, even if it's 30,000 per month. Let the our staff now serve as staff because we have shortage of staff. They can do the needful by going to the villages in terms of recruiting, in terms of registration of children, and assisting even in UNICEF whenever UNICEF has their own program. But all this is lacking because we don't even have the manpower to go around. And we have appealed to the National Assembly that convert your own empowerment to this, recruit some of these people, because there's serious unemployment in the society. And if you are not coming in to us assist, it is not enough every time you go out and share some few things and they clap hand for you. No. They say teach the people how to fish. It is better. Because by the time they do that, we have a good hands of ad hoc. There will be a period the national population will recruit. We will start with the ad hoc staff. Because now you don't need to give them any training anymore. You get my point? And that's why we advocate. We went to a national assembly, met with House of Rep, met with Senate, said, do this for us. For it is for the good of cross-severance, for the goods of cross-severance. Not only the employment you are giving them, but will also achieve something. Who knows, one of you senators tomorrow may become the governors of this state. And if we turn around, then you'll be the beneficiary of that effort.
Okay. Well, I think that's a lot of work going on going forward. Now, how would you develop and implement policies to promote reproductive health, family planning, maternal health and child health?
Well, when you, it's just like what people will say, all hands must be on deck. It cannot be solely the responsibility of the child and the national population alone. Ours is mostly to give out the education, guide you on what to do. We know that the heads, the Ministry of Health, hospital, and the rest of them. And that's why we partner a lot in this regard, to really promote, to give the awareness, and then they fit in since it's part of their responsibility. I'm not even surprised that the commissioner just left, Commissioner Head. So maybe that is part of the packaging people are having to carry it all along.
Okay, so interestingly, we hear that there's this new system, which is what is supposed to be, employed. Which let's see now. Let me get that particular one correctly. It's where are you? Okay. Anyway, it has to do with Okay. This is it. Particularly the electronic civil registration and vital statistics system, and the National Coordination Committee on Civil Registration and Vital Statistics. Now, help us understand, really, because we know that when it comes to population, there is the need for that, so that we can plan for schools, we can plan for amenities in our communities and all that. So besides just the allocation, which will come from the federal government, where we have our data correctly, and we should benefit more from that one if we have our records correct. How else does the birth registration data, how does it better our communities?
In fact, we have even answered the question. That's what they call in MPC demography.
Okay.
The demography data help you to know the health sector, the health of the people, the aged ones in the society, the young ones. Okay, like this issue of malaria. Right now, there's what do you call it? A training going on, okay, and a research going on malaria, coming from us, the commission. Our staff are already in the field. They're taking a survey of malaria. How does it affect? In fact, 16 local government in Cross River State are affected. Our staff are already in the field. This is part of things that the commission does. They gather all this data. It helps the government to plan. Not only planning for the welfare of the citizen in terms of providing adequate facility for their education and health. It also helps the government to know what is the health status of the society, of the citizens. So these are some of the aspects that birth restriction and the data therein assist the government in planning well. Because if you don't have it, it's just like the common saying, he who failed to plan to fail. And that is the truth about it. So if you don't have all the data, how do you, and that's why you see Nigeria, like I was happy when we paid a visit. Luckily I was among the team of about 5 of us from the national population that visited Mr. President. And he said it. He said he's serious and is going to make sure that census will be conducted in his tenure. That how can we be planning without knowing what we have, the population we have. Mm-hmm. So all this help in planning, both your budgeting. You cannot, right now in Nigeria, sorry if I may sound indicting, we are just budgeting without knowing the figure of the people we are budgeting for. We don't have it. Mm. You budget for what you know. You don't just stand up and budget.
Well, I think there was a census carried out not too long ago by the NPC, or that's not the office that carries out that census.
That was only since 2006. And what is the difference now? 2006 to date. How many years now?
So our budgets are basically run on assumptions.
On assumption. Tomorrow you hear Nigerian population is 250. The next moment, right now, they're even saying 210. Up and down. And that is why the international community, they are so worried. In fact, they are begging the Nigerian government, and we told Mr. President that only your proclamation, if you just give that proclamation, they are ready. Some of them are ready to finance the census. That is why many people don't understand when we gave the budget of 900 and something. The 900 and something is not coming from the budget of Nigeria. Outsiders are ready to finance it. Because it's very important, the figure is very important to them to plan for Nigeria. Because they are assisting. And you know, Nigeria is also a partner in the developments of the, what they call it, developing country. Nigeria also contribute, like when I was in the National Assembly with budgets for things like that. So we're also part of contributing too.
Okay, can you share your thoughts on how to balance population growth with economic development, environmental sustainability, and social justice?
You are taking me back to even my answer. The balance is planned well.
Okay.
Okay? If you plan well, you will have less challenge in terms of how you tackle challenges of the people you are governing. All right? If you plan well, except I don't understand your question.
In that case, what are your plans? Can you let us in on your plans?
Okay, if you are referring to the commission,
yes,
the plan of the commission,
yes,
the plan of the commission, we have marshaled out our plans. Look, from so and so, even right now, like I said before, we have offices cut across the 18 local government across our states. Beside that, we have units in each of the local government, and we have staff who mount this unit. They collect all the data. These are the data that helped in planning. So even very soon we'll also embark on another training of our staff, still going out, because our major function and responsibility of the commission is data collection. Data collection that covers all sectors of life. That's why I talk about demographics. The demographics is generally knowing about the people,
right,
their welfare, education, health, all right, and economic status of the people. Who are the rich? Who are the poor in the society?
Yeah.
So that you'll be able to plan for their upkeep. Because the Constitution says the welfare of the people should be paramount.
All right. Okay, so very importantly, you mentioned earlier that you went to some villages around, or your staff have gone to some villages, and sometimes they get a kickback. They get this pushback, like, what are your reasons for coming? Why don't you see my children? Some think they're there for ill reasons and all that. Can you speak to that challenge and speak to that mother and let them understand in your own terms why they should bring their child out and why they should not be worried? And also maybe some elements that they can use to verify that, oh, this person is actually coming from the NPC that they need to know.
Thank you very much. To address this challenge, we devised many approach. And one of such approach, we interface with the local authority that we may call the traditional institution, whereby they will go out and send out the town criers who will go and educate the people. That play when you see them, they are not here as tax collectors. They are here to help us so that we know the population, what we have, and the challenges that we have. So please attend to them. We have been doing a lot of advocacy. And very, very soon, like we announced to Her Excellency, we shall be embarking on tour, visit of local government. This also to interfere with the local government authority, that the chairman and the structure in the local government. So there too, on their own part, they will see what they can do in coming in to assist us in this advocacy. Because if the people are not well informed, certainly we will continue to face the challenges. You know, what people don't like is to give out. But everybody want to take, everybody want to collect. So we're not surprised whenever they see us coming as tax collector. They're coming for us to spend money. So this is some of the measures we have put in place to assist us. So like our visit to the First Lady, we say, please First Lady, help us with regard to the women wins. Let them also see, because the women are very, very powerful in this advocacy. And I was very happy she told us that she's already on that she's doing that. And she even promised us that our next outing, she would like our staff to be part of her team, so that they will also be given an opportunity to talk to the women and address them.
All right.
I don't know whether I'm able to answer your question. These are some of the areas we try to make sure we arrest such challenges.
Okay. All right, just before I let you go, you mentioned in the course of our conversation that the last census carried out in Nigeria was in 2006. What are modalities put in place, or when are we usually expected to carry out the census? And what are the things that have stalled it? Should it be that we have, stayed too long before having another census after that time? What are the things that have stalled or stopped or impeded a census being carried out in Nigeria, and how can that be addressed? Let me start by informing us that international standard is every 10 years there must be census conducted in any country. But calculating from 2016 date, we know that Nigeria have failed in that regard. And so far, like I've informed you, we pay a visit to Mr. President. It's also with regard to preparation towards conducting the census. And that visit gave birth to Mr. President setting up what we call Presidential Committee. And the Presidential Committee so far, I think by now they should have submitted their report. That is all preparation towards ensuring that the census in the country. We don't know whether that can happen within this year, because our planning and our submission from the Commission to Mr. President is to see how that can be carried out this year.
All right.
Okay, because of political activities next year, 2027.
All right. I want to thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning. Honestly, it's been a very rich conversation, and I'm very sure that our people too have been enlightened, they've been informed, and also educated as to the reasons why their children should be brought forward whenever your team goes in our villages. They should bring their children. They're not there for any foul reason, only so that we can have a better planning for our communities, even for our state and nation at large. I'm speaking so far with Right Honorable Barrister Alex Ukam, Federal Commissioner, National Population Commission. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. May God bless you.
Amen. Amen.
Live and direct from the control tower, it's your power, music and talk radio station. Paradise 105.5 FM Calabar. #1 in the south of Nigeria.